We're working on this four-wheeler. It's a hot sunny day out here again. We're going to see if we can get this thing to run better. So this is a Polaris 400L. We got this from trade. We traded an RC car for this thing, and turns out the top end was blown, so fixed the piston, put a whole bunch of stuff on here. We got it running, but it's still a little sketchy, so we're going to work on it. So welcome. We're working on a Polaris 400L today. We're going to try and replace the carburetor, see if that solves the bogging down issue. When we got this, the carburetor was missing some pieces, so we bought an Amazon carburetor, and it works. It starts and runs, but hello Zen, all right, but it bogs down, and when I'm riding around, it'll just decide to stop running, and it'll die on you. Well, thankfully we have a battery, so we can just start it right up on the spot, but it's very annoying to not be able to drive for more than 2 minutes before it just pukes out and dies. So let me start it up and I'll see if we can show you how it doesn't sound like it's responding quite good here. Make sure we're in neutral. And I wasn't. Okay. This thing should start pretty easily. Think that with that happening, it'd be all good to go. Ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, I didn't clean the old carb, so we might have problems. All right, but let me try revving it here. Shut it off. So that's what we're going to work. I've already tried adjusting the needle inside the carburetor. I adjusted it up, I adjusted it down. I adjusted the screw that adjusts the primary fuel, and it's just still not getting any better no matter which way I go. So I've got the original carburetor. This is an Amazon carburetor that's in here right now. It was missing all the springs when we got it. I was wondering why the throttle was like not moving when we first got it. It's because there was no, I didn't try the jets yet. There was one different size jet that came with the, awesome, thanks for subscribing, man. There was another one that came with the Amazon carburetor, I think. I'll have to look. Yeah, hi guys. So I'm just going to try the original first, because since it was missing the springs, it obviously wasn't going to work, but I can steal the internal springs from the Amazon one, and I'm hoping that that's just plain magically set up properly so that we pop that in there and all our problems will be solved. All right, thanks for joining, guys. So chances are, though, it's going to be like super dirty and gunked up, but let's get to it. Let's put this new original carburetor in. Remove the seat on this one. It's right at the back. You pinch there. It lifts up. Let's bring you a little bit closer here. All right. Angle you down. There we go. here's where all the magic happens. Part of the problem could be the air box. It's must be standard procedure for these Polarises to look like this. It's like, yeah, we had two of them and they both look exactly like this. All right, so here's the Amazon carburetor. Let me grab the original one. I wisely put it in the box from the Amazon one because I knew we might want it. All right, so there that is. This one's not nearly as shiny. Yeah, hopefully we're fixing it up. All right, so yeah, we got some varnish in there. I'm just gonna pop it in and see what happens first before I go about tearing this thing down and trying to clean it. Because it ran at one point, but then somehow they did something and they trashed the piston. The piston was just shredded when we got it. So we're hoping the carburetor was fine up until that happened. So let me take off the top here. This is actually the Amazon pieces here. So I'm going to put those in the box. We're going to use the proper ones that are inside here. Oh, that's on there pretty tight. There it goes. All right. It's a hot sunny day here. Sun's starting to go down though. We've got a line of trees over there that really helps in the winter for blocking the wind, but in the summer it makes the sun go down like 2 hours early. So here, I'll show you as soon as I get this up and out. Get my hands free. Set that to the side. Hope that spring doesn't come out. That's no fun when that spring comes out. I've had that happen more than I would like. So there you see the sun's like still way up there, but I'm in the shade. Over there it's bright and sunny. Well, on a hot day like today though, it's probably not a bad thing to be in the shade. All right, let's get back to doing this. All right, let's see that carburetor down there. Now, make sure you can see it. Yep. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of junk here. A lot of cool stuff too. It's not all junk. Most of it is though. Okay, let's shut the fuel off so we don't leak fuel everywhere. All right, yeah, thank you. It's a fun place to be. We're out in the country here on 20 acres in the marsh. Get to have all kinds of fun out here. There's like no neighbors really anywhere at all. I mean, the closest neighbor is like a quarter mile that way and a quarter mile that way and nobody that way and nobody that way. So we can make all kinds of noise out here. All right, grab a tool. All right, we got needle nose. Oh, that's the rusty one. Then we got a screwdriver. Let's use the screwdriver to unscrew our clamp holding this to the engine. And of course, it's a Phillips, and the screw head is like pretty stripped. So I gotta push pretty hard to turn that thing there. Okay, let's see if that's enough to pop this out of the intake. And I'm no expert at this. I'm learning as I go. There we go. We got that loose. Let's go ahead and pull the fuel line off. Some kind of vent here. I really don't know what that's for. Stick that in there. Now, this isn't the proper tool. Might have to go grab a different wrench here instead of the pliers. Yeah, let me go get one. Let's go look for a crescent wrench. That should do it. All right, so coming on into the garage here. All right, there's Christine, 1960 Ford Starliner. This one runs and drives. We had it on the road twice, just twice. One of these days again, we'll get on the road and make sure to get a video of that. This should do the trick. And there's Ruby, 1972 F something 250. Yeah, Highboy 4x4. I think they were called 250s back then. I know the smaller ones are F100s, but pretty sure that's a 250. Yeah, okay. All right, hello Lisa, thanks for joining. We are swapping this carburetor back to the original because we put on an Amazon carburetor and it's having some issues. It bogs down and then it just completely shuts off while you're out driving it. So we're going to put the original on because there were some parts that came with this one that the original was missing. So we weren't able to use the original after we got this four-wheeler. But now we hopefully can. Just unscrewing the choke. So here's a question. Oh, where'd the spring go? That's the question. No, when we hook this choke in, there didn't seem to be anywhere to attach it. So is that like pressure? This cable pushes down and closes something, or are we supposed to actually connect it to something in there? I don't know. Choke doesn't actually seem to do anything, but thankfully it starts. So right now it's not a problem. I need to find that spring, which I just dropped under the four-wheeler. Now my hands smell like gas too. All right, somewhere down here. All right. I got it. And that's why it's nice to work on this in the really smooth gravel driveway. Because gravel's better than grass. If I drop this spring in the grass, that'll be even worse. Okay, got all our parts off. Now, see, something looks different in the choke on this side compared to this one. There's something in the Amazon one and not in the original one. Yeah, somebody was raiding this thing and stealing parts. How do I get that out? There's no straight slot. It doesn't look like a hex. I don't know how someone got it out of here. That's going to be a problem probably. I can blow straight through it too. Man, I have no clue how to get that out of there. Not with the needle nose. Or maybe. It might be coming out. I'm not sure. It's not the best needle nose. It's like really rusty, so it's hard to pinch and grab. And ideally these would be more of a needle. Oh, you like my gas tank here? As we were taking it apart, or maybe before we, look at that. Interesting. That's not screwed in. Well, that's new. I didn't know that. Well, that's good to know. It just sits there. That's why I couldn't find anything to attach the choke cable to, because it doesn't attach to anything. It just sits in that hole like this. And then when we put the cable in, I think it either pushes down or doesn't push down. So let's go ahead and reassemble this now. So we'll screw that choke cable in there. All right. Got mosquitoes. You guys got mosquitoes by you? They're trying to eat my eyes. Let's hope the threads are the same on here. It'd be dumb if they got different threads. Wow. There, nope. It almost started. Pretty crusty looking. Marsh mosquitoes. Yes, it is marsh mosquitoes. Honestly, they're not too bad this year. There's been some years that the mosquitoes are insane. And you can't even go outside and do anything because they're just eating you. I don't like how this thing doesn't start. Let's give it some help. I can see it's crooked though, so I don't want to cross thread it. I bet the first thread is just kind of corroded up from sitting. I've got geese behind me. Pretty soon they're going to start trying to eat me, eat my feet. Oh, this is frustrating. And what's this thing for? The new one came with this weird spacer. Let me just set that down for now. Maybe I don't need it. Here come the geese. Pretty soon you're going to see them by my feet. I wonder. Oh, there they are. You see them yet? I'll show you. There they are. There they are. They're behind me. I wonder if I can thread this part in first. Probably not, because I can't spin that cable. But let me see if it even threads in. Every time you work on something, it's always a lot harder than you think. It might not be the same threads, because this was a Amazon one. And unfortunately, the original one was missing. It wasn't there. All right. I need a chair. Okay. Visibly, they look similar. I don't have the original one from the original carburetor. Well, that might be a showstopper if I can't get the choke threaded in. Okay, I got it lined up. Seems to be going in. Doesn't seem to be cross threading. I think it's just all corroded. Maybe. No. No, that wasn't going in. Well, that's no fun. All right, let's just try this without the choke. It's probably gonna pop it out of there. Yeah, I know, it is mirrored. I can't figure out how to undo the mirrored screen. Yeah, one of these days I'll figure it out, maybe, if it's even possible. All right, let's go ahead and pop this in here. That's going to be a problem there, but let's just see what we can do. All right, let's get our fuel line on. My fuel line's kind of crunchy. I thought I put a new fuel line on, but I guess I didn't. All right, let's get this inside the boot here. Oh yeah, I was talking about the gas tank. When we took the gas tank off, the bottom part of it broke, and we have to buy a part. It's purchasable. It's not shattered. But I grabbed a lawnmower gas tank and we rigged it up. So that's why this thing's all fat, and I can't get the plastics on because it's the wrong gas tank. Okay, now let's seat this awesome thing and try not to get the spring and the needle to pop out, because that's no fun to do with one person. Am I making a bomb? I hope not, because I'm going to sit on this thing and try driving it. We're working on a four-wheel, a two-stroke carburetor. We're putting the original one back in. I'm just looking in my box of parts here, hoping that I didn't forget any parts. Okay, let me screw this intake clamp down. And oh, I got to put on that, there's this yellowish orange hose that I took off. I have no clue what it does. It's probably a vent of some sort. I got to put that back on. It's not the oil. It's not the oil injection. That actually gets injected after the carburetor on this two-stroke. Well, we've got all kinds of hoses here. I guess we'll connect none of them. They're just vents from what I can tell, because we got our fuel, we got our choke, which we can't connect because the Amazon carburetors choke bolt housing thing is different threads as far as I can tell. And fuel, throttle, and then the oil's injected way up there just after the carburetor. Okay, let's go ahead and see if this thing will start. All right, we don't want to throw away the old carburetor because we're probably going to be putting that thing back on. Let me back you up a little bit in case this explodes. There we go. Okay, so we're not going to be able to choke it, but I don't want the choke cable falling in down here. Let me show you why. Because we've got this awesome, really super safe thing over here. There it is. Yeah, we don't want this choke cable to go in there. If that choke cable goes in there while it's running, yeah, then we're looking for a new choke cable and maybe more. Let me tie it up. All right, let's see if this thing starts. Make sure we're neutral. Okay, started. Oh, you know what? Something's funny with the throttle. The throttle is not responding. I must not have put that in there properly. When that's seated, it's not doing anything. Of course, that had to happen. This fell out. This is like really not fun to put together. Oh, and then the mosquitoes are biting my face. All right. So I need to try, and don't you love this gasket? It's like what happened here. That might be our whole problem too. It may not be missing me. Oh, you're back, man. Yeah. It is. It's always harder than we think. So I need to get this down through there, all while pushing on the spring and not losing that needle. And make sure this is retracted or out as far as I can go. Ooh, that's no fun. And it's spring loaded. Let's get you a little closer here. There's a little hole there that we're trying to, oops. Gotta find a needle. Okay, found it. All right, so even doing this with two people is not fun. I did it before with one person, so it's just a matter of you got to compress it, line up the throttle cable through this hole. Come on, I see it. It was there. I see it. There it is. There it is. There it is. Come on. Oh, it's like right there. Let me make sure this is, it's not there. Come on, pull that out a little. Because the spring wasn't there, this wasn't pulled out all the way. Now it is. That'll help. Try that again now. Now I got another inch or ½ inch on my throttle cable. See how much more it's sticking out now? That should help. Yeah, there's a piston. We replaced the piston, so there's definitely a piston in there. All right, so lining that up. That spring is no fun. Without that spring, this would be easy. But we need that spring right there. Come on. Come on. Oh, so frustrating. It's like right there. See if I can pinch that spring, because that spring's causing me grief. Just hold that down. There we go. That might help. Boing. Hello from McDonald's. Oh yeah, eggplant, you're back. Awesome. All right, so we're trying to get this through there. Come on. Right there, right there. Go, go, go. Oh, that's difficult. That is difficult. And I'm losing that spring. And yes, boing, it's going to fly all the way across the driveway if I let go here. Come on, I see it. And I told you guys earlier that it would really suck if that thing falls out. And of course, that thing fell out. There, yes, yes, don't lose it. Yes, I got it. There. So it just kind of moves over in that groove. Don't lose it. And let's put this all down in there. Never mind that gasket. I've already tried to get that gasket seated properly, and it's like the gasket grew in size and it's too big. All right, it's going in. All right, let's see if the throttle works. Yes. Okay, let's try this again. Of course, who knows if the throttle needs major adjusting, because we had it on the other carburetor. I turned the fuel off. Forgot when I was swapping the carburetor, I turned that off. Otherwise, I'd have fuel everywhere. Let's give it a second here for the fuel to drop down. And then we're going to have to suck it in. Idling pretty high. There's no way I can shift it into gear idling that high. Almost sounded like it wanted to race out of control there, so I shut it down. Yeah, so is it the throttle that's sucking, pulling up too much and making it think that we're asking for more, or do you think it's the idle adjuster? There's a clip on that needle. I've got it at the highest setting. It wasn't originally there. I really don't want to pull that out again though. So if it's at the highest setting, does that mean it's going to run fast or slow, or does it have nothing to do with the idle? I don't know. I'd prefer not to mess with the carburetor adjustments yet, because this carburetor supposedly ran and they were using it just fine. So that needle I did adjust before, though. Let's hope I don't drop that throttle cable out again, because I'm about to lift this out, but I'm just wanting to get at that needle. All right, here it comes. Don't fall out. All right, we're still there. We get that needle out. Here we go. There's this needle. See, there's an adjustment clip, which is way at the top. So now the question is, can I dare to let go of this and hope that cable doesn't fall out? Because I need 2 hands to do that. Okay, don't breathe on it. All right. Whoa. Tools on the ground. I didn't put that there. All right, so we're gonna pop that off. And we're just gonna move it down to the middle. Because when we first got this, it was on the middle adjustment. If I lose that thing in this gravel, that won't be fun. So I don't always just work on equipment here. It's just, right now it's summer, it's nice out. And we have all this, yeah, I've got a magnet over there. So that's what we'll use if we drop this. I better not drop it though. So it's summer, it's nice out, and we have all this equipment that needs work. So that's been my focus the past couple days. And working on equipment is usually a little more interesting than some of the other stuff. Sunday, I spent 6 hours in the basement, wet basement, replacing my water heater. That was no fun. I thought it'd take an hour. But just like this, everything is harder to do than you think it's going to do. I know. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it would idle lower. Will that affect the idle if it's leaner? Because it was revving pretty high. And guess what I just did? I just dropped that clip, but I saw where it fell. It fell by my shoe. So if it's idling really high like that, maybe I need to adjust the throttle cable. I might have to go get that magnet, even though it just fell right here by my foot. It's gone. Here, I'll show you the ground while I go get the magnet, which is like right behind me. See if you can see it. It landed like right there. Meanwhile, I'll grab that magnet. All right, so we went to Harbor Freight and bought this wheeled magnet thing, and it was like 2 days before. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. 2 days before this wheel was broken. We found our needle nose. All right, let's hope this thing found it. Let's take a look, see what goodies we found. Look at that. There it is. All right. Let's try this again without dropping it. All right, but I did want to have it on the medium or middle setting because that is where it was when we got the four-wheeler. So I guess I'm just starting with putting everything back to how they had it set up. A little further. Doesn't quite seam in all the way. There it goes. All right, let's put this back together. All right, we have not had a lot of luck with two strokes. They always seem to give us problems. The first two-stroke four-wheeler we had was one we traded our four-seat go-kart for, and it was a Polaris 350 or 250 or 300. And the second day we had it, we blew the piston because they didn't have the oil injection tube connected at all. So it was like a ticking time bomb when we got it. So it took us like 6 months to get that working again. So we finally got that fixed and sold that, and here we are. We got another Polaris two-stroke, but this time we knew that there's issues because we traded this for an RC car that we had. So, you know, if you're trading an RC car and you get a four-wheeler out of the deal, you know the four-wheeler is going to have some problems. And sure enough, it was missing a lot of stuff. The starter was bad, the Bendix was missing, the recoil was missing, spark plug was missing, belt was missing. I don't know, other things were missing. And of course, once we took it apart, the piston was shredded. So got a new piston, cleaned out the piston garbage in the bottom, and placed all those other missing parts, and it's running and driving. Okay, let's give this a try here. Yeah, still idling way too high. There we go. So actually though, so the throttle cable was all the way down. So if I adjust this up, it's going to be worse. All right, two strokes are simple. Air, fuel, spark. Adjust the fuel restriction screw. Turn it in all the way and back it out 2.5 turns. All right, let's get that throttle thing back in there. So there's two screws on here. I think the smaller one closer to the air filter is the idle, and I think this big one straight below that pin, that needle we're talking about, I think that's the throttle cable. Shouldn't be engaged at all, and I don't think it is. I think we're dropped all the way down. So yeah, let me screw that in a little if I can. No, it was in all the way. All right, let me back it out. 1.5. It's your favorite stream to watch while doing that. Yep. Okay, let's give it a try again here. So it seemed like it was cranked all the way in. I just backed it out 4/4 and another 2/4. So 1.5. We'll start with that. So was that 1.5 or 2.5? 2.5. All right, let's go one more. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. That's 2.5. Go back in here. Oh, never mind. I had it switched off still. high here. All right, make sure I'm seeing the bottom comments here. Yeah, it does seem a little better. So should I adjust the idle screw yet, or keep trying that main fuel screw? Let me try another quarter turn. It's getting better. 3 4-wheelers, but only 2 are 2 strokes. 2.5 turns out is standard for most carbs. Yeah, I'm 2 3/4. Should I try running it like this, or do we need to go more? So can you go adjust the idle from there? Okay. Of course, the muffler's in the way for that. Let me try and get a little screwdriver to reach in there. This isn't a little one. Muffler's not hot yet. Oh, I think, okay, so are we going to want to go clockwise or counterclockwise? Clockwise will close it, which will decrease something, either the fuel or the air. I might have to get a smaller screwdriver. I was able to get it to turn a little. There. I'm almost a quarter turn clockwise. All right. Little goes a long way. Is a quarter turn too far? I want to loosen it. Okay, okay. Let's go the other way then. Okay, we're back where we started. I need a smaller screwdriver because what's happening is I'm just grabbing it from the side, and then the back of the screwdriver is hitting the frame. Yeah, I do want to idle lower, so all right. We get a smaller screwdriver. Let's head back into the garage here. Yeah, thanks for helping. I don't work on these enough to have this stuff memorized. And usually what I do, the very few times I do need to do it, is I will stop and I'll look it up online. But right now, I can't look it up online because I'm talking to you guys. All right, screwdrivers. We want a nice little one here that I can get in there. Of course, all the little ones are Phillips. There should be one here. Just got to find it. That might work. Okay. Let's go ahead and adjust that. You think a quarter turn is too far? Maybe go halfway to a quarter. Well, that is hard to get at. There we go. Okay, let's give it a try. So I know some carburetors actually have this fancy cable that attaches, and then you can reach down to the side and do it. All right, you got a Subaru ST1. Is that, I'm assuming that's a car. Might be a 4-wheeler. I don't know what it is. All right, let's try it. Don't want to drop that screwdriver down there though. I think that's still too high. Hey, what time is it there? Well, that's a good question. I don't have a watch on. I would normally look at my phone, but I'm using my phone. Judging by the sky, the sun's about an hour from going down. And I think now it goes down around 8:30 p.m. here. We're central Wisconsin. So I'm guessing it's like 7:30. Central Wisconsin. All right, I'm going to adjust that down another partial turn. All right, so we're a quarter open more than when we started on the idle screw. I'm not sure if I've heard any difference with this idle screw yet. Now turn it out until you're happy with the idle. Okay. It's 8:18 there. You must be Eastern time. So it's probably 7:18 here. Unless you're central and I'm an hour off from what I thought it was. Okay. Yeah, I think the idle's still too high, so I'm going to turn it out a little more. It's very hard to get this screwdriver in here. The transmission linkage is like right there. And then the muffler's right there too. It's a bad placement. They're always a bad placement. All right, there we go. All right, I went another partial turn. Thing shakes so much. I was trying to adjust it while it was running, but I can't get on it because it shakes. It gets all blurry. All right. Let me take it for a spin. The problem the Amazon carburetor was having was it would go and it wouldn't throttle up fast. It would really stumble a lot. And if you did a long, slow press on the throttle, it would get going, and then you would be going nice and fine, and then just middle of nowhere, you're out in the field, it would just start bogging down weak until it dies. I mean, nothing you can do. Once it decides I'm going to die, it's going to die. But then you crank it again and a little bit of play on it and you get it started and it goes. So that's what we're hoping to fix here today. So I'm going to back you up so you can see me spin up and down the driveway and see how it sounds. And hopefully this thing is a little more reliable now. So yeah, thank you for your assistance. All right, trying to get the best view here. Yeah, there really is no good view. Being able to see a good portion of when I'm driving. All right, let me try it. Yeah, same issue. Yeah. Same issue. It like does this really weird hesitation there. I mean, it runs, it drives. If you just are real gentle on the throttle, it goes. But there's something wrong. Yep, 2000 Mustang. Yeah, that's my son Tanner's. Tanner Rebuilds. Check out his channel. You'll see him working on that and a lot of these other vehicles around here, the Starliners and stuff. He did a lot of work on Christine, the 60 Starliner, and Ruby, the 72 Ford. And then in the back, we got more Starliners. So he did a lot of work on those because I get stuck at work all day. So he's here at home and he gets to spend time working on these. Let me take it for a little bit of a drive and see if I can bring you guys with so you can kind of see how it's acting. This will be a little tricky holding you guys while holding two handlebars. All right. Well, I think easiest is have you facing me. You get to see me. All right, keys on. Start this thing up. Idling a little high. Yeah. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I'm going to start it in gear. That way I don't have to grind the gears trying to get into gear. Horsefly on my disc. flooded over there. I almost went through a flooded area. All right. There we go. So if you guys were able to see that, hopefully I didn't lose you for that whole time. I took a spin around the muddy, wet yard, and it bogs down a lot still. So some more adjustments needed. Maybe the jet. I don't know. I think we're going to leave the original carburetor on for now because it's running and driving with that. But whatever problem it was having with the Amazon carburetor, it's still having with this carburetor. So it's disappointing. I don't know. I guess more work's needed, but thanks for the information that some of you guys gave me on adjusting two-stroke carburetors. I'll probably forget it, but you never know. Sometimes you just need to hear it from someone else, and then you remember next time you need to do it. I think that's all that we're going to do here for today. So later, I've got to put the chickens away. Hello from Russia. Awesome, guys. Russia. It must be like morning there. Here it's almost 8 o'clock at night. That's the sunset. Sun's going down. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. I've never put the chickens away before, but so I went to work today, and while I was at work, the rest of my family, they went to Lake Michigan swimming. So I was at work and they're out there swimming in Lake Michigan today, and they're not going to be back till after dark, they think. So because of that, I've got to try and put the chickens away tonight. So that's a little scary. I might, 3:30 a.m. in Russia. Wow. Middle of the night, man. Thanks for joining. So I might show you guys the attempt at putting these chickens away tonight. It's going to be once it starts getting dark, so it'll be like an hour from now. If I'm lucky, maybe my family will come home from the beach and they'll be able to put the chickens away. But if not, this could get kind of interesting. There's the chickens. And there's more chickens. And more and more and more and more and more. Yeah, so thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for all the help you gave me. And yeah, awesome. I'll look for you. If I have to put the chickens away, I'll be doing a live stream. If you don't see a live stream from me, it means I got lucky and I didn't have to put the chickens away tonight. So you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. See, they're already threatening me.